It is so good to have you here today. I'm so excited about this topic. What we're talking about today completely changed my relationship. It changed my relationship with money, with men, and I am so excited to help you and to teach you how to heal this so that you can start attracting all the abundance, start attracting healthy men, and fixing that relationship with money. And this is called wounded masculine energy. Wounded masculine energy, it, in women, it is activated when we are little. There is an energy blueprint in our mind. So imagine that this is masculine energy. And so imagine like clear, just energy lines all over here. And each line has a pathway. Each line represents masculine energy. This one can be provision. This one can be love. They can be all sorts of things. And what happens here is that the masculine energy, when there is a wound here, for example, I grew up with a father who did not provide for me. So I had a wound here that I felt like I was not worthy of being provided for. And over here, I had another wound where I felt like I wasn't worthy of love. I wasn't worthy for a man to fully love me and take care of me and see me. I also had other wounds around where I felt so unworthy. I felt so shameful, and so many wounds just layered up. And that right there, having those wounds, the problems that caused in my life were just not good. It caused problems with money. I would overspend. I would spend money on things that I did not need to spend money on. I felt like I couldn't. I wanted to create a business, but I felt stuck. I always wondered, why is it that I have the business plan, I have everything, I have the idea, but why can't I make it come to life and take action? Another thing with wounded masculine energy, it is very controlling. It keeps you in survival mode. It keeps you in this sense of urgency of always having to do the next thing. Urgency is gonna like tap in here. You really need to buy this, or you need to do this. There is no structure. There is no sense of logic. And there's a lot of things that come in this wounded masculine energy. A lot of judgment, avoidance, lack of communication. And I had all of this. All of this was ruining my relationship with men, with money, with my own father. And the way to heal this, I'm going to talk about this right now, but I want you to also recognize the patterns of wounded masculine energy and to have a list here so that you can know and have a clear structure of what it is. Wounded masculine energy avoids tough conversation. It avoids problems. It avoids emotions. It is very defensive, and it starts to blame others. Oh, well, because of you, this is what happened to me. It's so blameful. It is very defensive. If somebody tells you something, you just get very defensive, like, oh no, I'm not like that. Instead of like either one, taking it as criticism, as constructive criticism, or two, responding in a queen way. Next, we're gonna, let's see, next is, it is inconsistency and flaky. Wounded masculine energy, it is very inconsistent. Whenever you have a goal and you want to accomplish this goal, the only reason why you're not accomplishing it is because you're in your wounded masculine energy. You're not consistent. You try so hard, but then you wonder, why is it that I just don't feel like doing it? There is a disconnect with your masculine energy there because you want to thrive in your business, but you do not want to trust yourself. You do not trust the consistency. And another one, over-controlling all situations. You try to control, it tries to control all the situations in your life and in other people's lives. It tries to control outcomes. It tries to control everybody around them, their emotions, how they're feeling, what they're doing. It tries to control how things are going to go about. It is very, what's the word? Not decisive. It is, I lost my train of thoughts, but it's when like, deceit. It is very deceitful. It's when you feel like you need to place a person here for this event to happen so that you can go there. And I've seen this so much with women. They try to plan out a lot of events, and even when I had my salon, women would tell me all the time where I'm planning it out. I want him to go here, and then so we can meet and all these things. And like, they try to control the entire outcome of how their relationship's gonna go, instead of just allowing their relationship to naturally flow in a beautiful way. Another thing, it is an energy that constantly judges others. It is an energy that is constantly saying, oh well, that person this, that person that. It is a very judgeful energy, but judgment really comes within. You're just putting up a mirror in people, because judgment is really how you judge yourself. So if you're putting judgments on others, that is your wounded masculine. And that tells me that you are judging yourself just as hard as you're judging other people. And that right there, all these wounds are going to cause so much problems, so much friction in your relationship with money, your relationship with men, your relationship with masculine energy. And another thing that I've noticed is masculine energy and wounded masculine energy in women can look like overcompensating for something and trying to make yourself feel feminine instead of actually being feminine, because there's a huge difference in feminine energy and then femininity. But we're going to talk about that in another video, not here today. I just want you to take a look at what wounded masculine energy looks like. Wounded masculine energy looks like, I have my notes right here. It looks like you can make a lot of money, but you lose it at the same time. You self-sabotage when you have a lot of money. Let's say you saved up a lot of money, and then you have this urgency of trying to self-sabotage again. And what happens here is that whenever you try to expand your mind and your level of having, like, your level of holding things and holding on to more money, it just snaps. And an event happens in your life where you overspend on something happens, a car accident, anything happens, or maybe you get a ticket, things happen, events happen, and then you start to self-sabotage because you were so close to expanding your mind, but then self-sabotage happens. Things around you start to manifest in a way that does not help you, and you feel very upset. You're like, no, why did this happen? I was just saving money, and then this just happened out of nowhere. And this is where there is a wound that needs to be healed, and it's trying to tell you, it is screaming at you, hey, this manifested this way. We got this ticket, we got into this car accident, this emergency happened because there is a wound here that needs fixing. And this is why we're manifesting pain, we're manifesting lack. And this is where inner work comes in. Inner work is so important for this very reason. And then another one is overcompulsion. Overcompulsion of just randomly wanting to buy everything you see, wanting to buy the most expensive thing, the most expensive dress, the most expensive bag. And that used to be me too. I would only spend money on buying like $1,000 dresses. My dresses only had to be like $500 and up, because if not, I did not want anything to do with buying cheaper dresses. And I don't know why I even went on that mindset, but that was how I used to think before. And as you guys know, I'm 23 years old. I'm extremely successful. I built multiple businesses, and I have everything that I want in my life, but not because I was overspending, but because I healed my wounded masculine energy. And I'm gonna tell you at the end of this video how you can heal this energy and how you can start doing it now, so that you don't spend years of overspending, spend years in urgency and in survival mode, and spend years trying to figure out, why am I not growing in my business? Why am I not making a lot of money? So now, wounded masculine energy can also be having no plan ahead. Your day-to-day life is the same. You don't plan ahead. You don't have a routine. You plan maybe for 1 year, but you don't have a plan for the next 5 years. You don't have a plan for the next 10 years, where you're gonna go, where you're gonna be. You don't plan about starting a trust fund. You don't plan about having a low season under that trust fund. You don't know anything that you're gonna do. You're just living day-to-day life, and that is where wounded masculine energy comes in. And by the end of this video, I have a bonus. I'm also going to help you with this. So my boyfriend's a founding member in a company where you can learn real estate, and we are going to teach you how to build a trust fund, how to build LLCs, how to do real estate, do wholesaling, development. If you want to ever build a hotel, I don't want you to think that it's out of your reach or it's only for multimillionaires and billionaires. You can literally be an investor, and I am the one who is going to bring the opportunity to the table. And I need you to say, I am ready for this. I am ready to make easy 5 grand a month, 10 grand a month, 20, 50, 100 grand a month. I am ready to have my $1 million business. And if you want to do it in real estate, great. If you don't want to do it in real estate, also great. I have all the resources to help you. But if you don't do inner work, you are going to spend years trying to figure it out. And that used to be me. I spent so much time overspending on things that I did not need to spend my money on. And it doesn't necessarily mean overspending on just material things like buying dresses or bags and all that. It can also mean I was spending all my money on building a business. I had no structure. I had no plan. I didn't even know how to build a business plan. I didn't know how to get insurance. I didn't know any of that, how to build contracts, have structure, to hire lawyers, to hire people. I did not know anything. And I kept spending money on all of this, trying to learn, and failing. I have failed like 1,000 times in my life through everything. Hiring the wrong person. I failed not knowing how to properly read data. There's so many things in my life where I felt like, what is going on? But I came into that energy with no structure and no plan. That's why I failed. That is why I know now what to do, what not to do, and regulate my nervous system before I make any decisions. Because whenever there is urgency, whenever I feel like my chest, my heart is warm and there is tightness, that's when I know that I'm in survival mode. I am not making any decisions right now. When you're in survival mode, it is the worst place that you can be in, because you will make decisions in survival, in scarcity, and in lack. And then months later, days later, weeks later, years later, you're gonna say, why did I do this? Why did I get myself in this situation? So today we're gonna talk about this. And I know I'm already like 15 minutes in, but who cares? I want you to understand this to the roots, because I want this to really help you and change your life. And with the real estate bonus, I'm so excited because I also have another bonus where I want you to, even if you just want to refer a friend, just by having friends, I want you to make $1,000 for knowing somebody. And I'm going to tell you that at the end of this video. So let's get started. So when it comes to masculine energy, there is a blueprint, right? There is a masculine energy blueprint, and this blueprint was built since you were little, since you were born. And so imagine masculine energy right here. It is a ball of beautiful energy. If you want to make it blue, purple, whatever color, just imagine it, because the more I can imagine things, I learn. If I don't imagine things, I feel like I just don't learn just as fast. So imagine a blue ball of energy, beautiful, bright energy. And so this energy right here, there's little holes. Imagine little holes everywhere, and that is wounded masculine energy. This energy is telling you, I need to be able to have structure, be still. I need to be able to not have all this energy just leak out at me, because that is what causes burnouts. Burnouts happens because all the energy here has all these like holes in it. It's tired. It doesn't want to do that. It is energy that is going to keep repelling everything that you want in life. I have been there. And everything I just told you is wounded masculine energy. It needs your help. It needs you to look into yourself and say, hey, we need help with this. There is something in us that needs healing. It needs inner work. It needs your beautiful feminine energy or your beautiful masculine energy to come in and help us. And now, I want you to imagine beautiful little lines, white lines, blue lines also coming out. And that energy, that is where we are going to reconstruct your masculine energy. So now, a healthy masculine energy is so amazing. Whenever I was healing my masculine energy, my life used to look like I was working 3 jobs, I was burnt out, I was overworked. I used to work as a barista, and then I had another job where I worked in a grocery store. I was a clerk and also behind a deli. That can tell you a lot, because when you're a clerk, you're just a clerk. And then I was trying to do everything. I was trying to be the clerk and the behind the deli and also cook, and I was cooking. I was doing anything that I could to make extra hours and more money working at this grocery store, and I learned everything. I learned how to cook, to talk to vendors, customer service. I learned so much, and I'm actually glad I went through those jobs, because without those jobs, I would have never known how to connect with people and how to add value to others. And that is the great thing about having jobs, because you're meant to be there right now for a lesson that is going to help you in the future. And even as a barista, I'm glad that I was able to learn, because eventually if I want to open up my own coffee shop or partner up with somebody, I already know what to do. I know the structure, I know how to work the system, and we're gonna be great. But that's a dream for another time, not right now. I'm not planning on having one. When I was healing my masculine energy, that is when I had to look within and tell myself, what is my relationship with my father? How does that look like? And it was not the best. I had a lot of unforgiveness inside of me, shame, and I had so much anger and resentment in my body, stuck for years until I learned how to do inner work. And the only reason why this was inside me was because I grew up in a really unstable household with multiple fathers. I had a stepdad and another stepdad, and my father was never in my life, but he was always aware. I never was provided for. A lot of things happened in my life. And what really, I had to look so within myself and look and say, Carolina, if you don't fix your relationship with masculine energy, you are going to be stuck in the same cycle of overworking, overspending, overdoing, having to literally think that life is so hard. When life is not hard, life is easy when you do inner work. The harder the inner work, literally you will get your dream life so fast, but it starts with looking within. When I started to do inner work and realize how to heal my energies, that's when my life changed. 3 years in, grew $500,000 business, one business, and then I expanded into others. I'm 23 years old. I am not a real estate investor, and I have multiple businesses. I sell on Amazon too, but it starts with self-awareness. And now I have my dream house, I have my dream cars, and my dream man, my dream vacations, anything that I wanted. But it all started with healing these energies first. The way that you do this is, first step, realize what your relationship with your dad looks like and what the relationship with his dad looked like. Because if his dad didn't have a good relationship, if they didn't have a good relationship and he didn't have one with his father, that right there is called a generational pattern and a generational curse. That is where you have to look within and say, what is going on? Why is it that I don't have a good relationship with my dad? He didn't either with his dad. All these, all the family here, all this lineage, what's happening here is that they all have wounded masculine energy, just like we spoke about at the beginning of this video. If you need to write it down, I suggest writing it down. There's a lot more about wounded masculine energy, but I want to make it into this video completely for you. So now, once you can see the wounded masculine energy, take a look at the finances. What is it that money's also repellent by them? They can make a lot but overspend. Why was it that we spend our whole life always eating like McDonald's, or not being able to eat in nice restaurants, or not able to go on vacations? Why was it that I wasn't fully provided for? And then take a look at their masculine energy, because masculine energy has everything to do with money. Everything to do with money. Money will be repelled by this energy, because money wants action. It wants you to take it to the next level. It wants you to grab it, nourish it, invest it, grow it. Money is only going to swim in the waters of people who are healed, people who are vibrating at a higher level. And you cannot vibrate at a higher level while having all these wounds that are just being pushed back, and just putting them down to the side, when these energies are so important. They will change your life. Now, what I realized, and some of the most successful men I know, and I don't mean like a few $1,000s a month, I mean millions of dollars a year. My boyfriend's a millionaire. I also met a guy who he introduced me to, who makes literally in 7 years he built his real estate portfolio to 80 million a year. 80 million. Sorry, not a year. 80 million in total, not a year. And he's only 31 years old. He's so young and so like, it's such beautiful energy. But when you meet him, when you meet these people, and he's introduced me to a lot of successful men. When I meet them, they have such beautiful families. They have a great relationship with their mother and their dad. And that is how I know, wow, they opened the portal from the very beginning to abundance because they already had this beautiful energy. We, the ones who are not there, the ones who had to literally be the generational breakers, we had it harder. But once we break that, our kids would have it so easy. And you will have it so much easier too once you heal it. And it doesn't take years. This inner break is a matter of months. It's a matter of days. You can change your life so quick. Life gets to be easy. It gets to be so easy and so wonderful. And you can get to make a lot of money without having to overwork like I did, working 3 jobs, stressing myself. You can do this now and you can do this today. And again, back to my number 1 tip, realize your relationship with your dad. Now to heal this, you need to go and speak to them. Speak to him. Speak to your parents, speak to your dad, and build their relationship there. And if your dad is probably not here, then I need you to go to God, because that is exactly what I did. I went over there and I spoke to my dad. I traveled for my dad, and I went over there, spent a few weeks with him, and I built my relationship with him again. And when it came to God, I had such a disconnection from God. And when I started to see God, I really want more financial freedom. I really want more ideas. I really want to be so connected. Please show me how good it can get. Show me what it's like to be provided for. Show me what it's like to be loved completely. Show me what it's like to have everything that I want and to be happy. Show me what that's like. And I never had that father love. So I told God, God, what does having a dad really look like? Can you please just show me? And he started to show me, and it's been so amazing. He helped me grow my business. He holds my life. I always pray and I said, God, hold my hand through life. Make all my choices for me. And he always comes through every single time. Everything I do always is so divinely guided. And I make decisions, and I don't question my decisions, but I'm like, I wonder why I made that choice. And I don't know where to think about it. It's just a slight thought that comes to my mind, but I trust it. And I'm like, I don't care. It is what it is. God's guiding me. I have no worry. Having worry is like praying to the evil, is praying to the devil. When you worry, you are actually praying. And this is why you have to be so self-aware and conscious about what you're saying and the thoughts that are coming to your mind. Worrying is also activating survival mode. So whenever you make decisions based on survival mode and urgency, you will always make the wrong ones. I know that used to be me. I would activate survival, I would activate urgency and worry, and that would cause me to always make the wrong decisions, always do things that I was not supposed to do. Not supposed to do, but things that always led me straight down a mountain instead of up. Always. So be self-aware and question all your decisions. Ask yourself, am I making the right one? Is this going to benefit future me? Is this going to benefit anyone around me? Am I actually growing if I make this decision? It can be whenever you buy a new dress. Is this going to make me feel beautiful? It can be when you are about to buy a bag. How is this bag going to make me feel? Things like that. Just question everything. Am I overspending on this bag? Do I really need it? Or is it just a sense of urgency that I have? Because I have other things that I need to invest my money on. I can invest my money on building a business, in marketing, in running ads, in hiring a photographer. I can invest it in having a photo shoot for my business. So just question yourself with everything that you do, and wonder if it's coming from lack or if it's coming from abundance. There's a huge difference. And it took me so long to learn this, because I would spend money on bags, like thousands of dollars on bags. And then now I look back and I'm like, I needed that energy activation that was going on there to quantum leap into a new reality. But now I look back and I think I could have done that in a much easier way where I did not have to spend so much. I could have done that by activating my energy differently. And I'm gonna teach you that in a different video. Not today, but I want you to become self-aware of everything. And another tip that really helped me was I started to write down my standards and my boundaries. This one is huge. Write down your standards and your boundaries for masculine energy. Whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in business, write it down, because you need to have a structure, a very clear structure of what healthy masculine men look like and healthy masculine energy between yourself looks like. And a healthy relationship with your masculine energy can look like, let's say you want to work out and you want to start to work out, but somehow you feel lazy in the mornings. What you can start to do to nourish your masculine energy and to activate it is, and be playful with it. So at night, set your clothes up, have it ready for the morning, pick it out, you have it ready. You know that in the morning you have your shake ready and you have like your protein and everything, and you know what meal you're gonna eat in the morning. That is the masculine energy structure in your life. And now the feminine energy, we as women, we don't like to think too much. We like to just do, but we don't like to complicate our life. And if you've ever hung out with men, it's like your brain just stops working. So that is exactly how your masculine energy wants to protect you and your feminine energy. Your masculine energy wants to do all the work for you, so that the next day you just flow so effortlessly, and you get to just put on your outfit. You don't think about it. You already have your shake ready, your protein ready, you eat, and then you go work out. You already have the full structure. Your masculine energy was already put to work. Now, this is when your feminine energy comes in. It's just like, okay, we don't have to think too much or overdo things. Like, we're just gonna flow and let our feminine energy just come out of us and be spicy, be juicy, be towel-like, be flowy, and that is where you come in. And in business, it can look like the structure of like the website and the LLC and the business. I know whenever I was in my wounded masculine energy, I started to overspend money on the LLC and then a trademark and this and this and that, and getting the best bed and the best lights and the best everything. And that was an energy activation that I got, but I could have not spent so much and actually saved more at that time in my life. And what I didn't realize is that it was all my masculine and my feminine. It wasn't because of how much money I was spending or this and that and keeping. It was literally knowing my energies that would have saved me so many years of doing so much, spending so much, when in reality, all I could have done was went to the courthouse, got an DBA for $25, made some money, and then little by little buying my lash bed. I was so like adamant about having the best lash bed, and I love having the best things for my clients. I really do. And I recommend having the best things, but at a budget. I did not do that, and I always spent on everything, and then I ended up just having zero in my bank account all the time. And I was like, what is happening? I have all this money, but the root of the problem was not that I have all this money and the root of the problem was that I could not sustain it. My consciousness level was here, and let's say this was $10,000. I could not grow it to hold more money in my savings account because it just kept like snapping. I kept self-sabotaging. What I mean by snapping, I try to grow, hold more, but my mind could not allow me to, because I had like a preset in my mind where I could only hold $10,000 in my savings account. And every time I tried to grow more, I would overspend on something that I did not need, anything like that. And when I first started my first business, which was my last business, the first year I struggled so much because of this. I overspent on things I did not have to, when I could have used that money for marketing, for hiring a photographer and things like that. When I spent it on just having the nicest things of everything. And I actually got into debt because I got a suite. I got my first suite, which was $383 a week. from zero to having to pay weekly. And I had no clients, none of that. I bought all these things for my business. And then I was only there for 3 months and I couldn't pay it anymore. I was still working another job. And in this business, I said, okay, I'm losing money. I'm not keeping absolutely anything. I'm draining my savings account. So I closed it down. I saved up again for 3 more months and I saved up more money. And then I started again. And I said, okay, I'm opening up another street place, but this time I'm gonna wait and I am going to have some clients. So then I started building my client. I was lasting from home and I was spending my money on marketing. I hired somebody else. That's when I learned delegation. I learned how to delegate and I hired someone else. It was such a huge leap for me hiring someone for $1,000 a month because I know that I had to spend more money, $1,000 on hiring him plus $350 on having to spend on ads. That was a huge leap for me as a beginner, as someone who did not know anything about business. And I did it. That right there, once I did that, that made me my first $7,000 in my very first month when I was about 18 or 19 years old. That's when I first started my first business. And that just completely changed my life. But I could have done things so much more differently instead of having the urgency, in the sense of urgency of just having to have everything together and looking posh and looking like I have it all figured out when I really didn't. And it is okay not to have it all figured out. I'm 23 years old now. Literally, because of this, I built my multi-six-figure businesses. I can now hold more money, have a lot more money in my savings, and stretch my rubber band. And each time I can stretch it without self-sabotaging, because now I know, now I can see what's happening, see the energy around me, and say, okay, we're not gonna do this. We're gonna wait. If I want to invest in a property, I'm gonna wait. Things like that, right? And when before, I would just spend it because I thought that giving it away, giving it over here, meant safety. When I did not feel safe inside, I didn't feel good. And that's where my wounded masculine energy comes in, where I felt like I was not worthy of holding more in. And I felt like I had to give it all away because that made me feel safe. That made me feel safe inside, give everything away. And I don't mean giving it away, but I mean like buying this, buying that, all these things. And that was draining my energy. That was leaking out all of these holes in my masculine energy. And like I said, God will literally fix that for you. But you have to realize, where is it that there's a wound? And where is it that you're overspending on things that you don't need to? Where is it that you feel burnt out? Because all of this happens because wounded masculine, and then you get burnt out on things that you're doing. Where you're not activating your masculine energy, where your masculine energy is trying to protect you. It is trying to make you more money. It is trying to build structure around your business. Where is this coming from? And depending on the situation, you can book a one-on-one call with me, and then we can talk about it. I can see everything in your life. I can read the energy, and from there I can see, okay, this is what's happening. This is what you can do. It always depends on the situation and the person and the environment. For me, my environment, whenever this was happening, I was working at a place where I am so, I'm not 100% sure if I can say this on social media, but I was at a place where I had to wear a bikini to work. I had to wear really short, like shorts and everything like that. And that made me feel so shameful. It activated so much shame and guilt inside me, but I didn't know what else to do. Whenever I was making a lot more money working 3 jobs, I was living in San Francisco where they pay $20 an hour. Compared to here, they pay like $9 an hour. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to go back to California and embarrass myself and all these things and have to start all over again. And yeah, so I was working at that place, and I only stayed there for like 3 months, and all the girls were just really mean to me. It was not fun. And now those same girls that were mean to me, they ended up wanting to work for me. They ended up wanting to buy a course from me and learn from me. Those same girls who would call me names and try to jump me, all these crazy things. It is not a great environment, but that was my environment as I was trying to build a business. And I have a client right now who she's in the same position where she's working at a job similar, and she's trying to grow her lash business. But what I can see here is that she's also in a relationship, and this relationship is leaking out her energy because the guy is making her feel unworthy. The guy doesn't provide for her fully. The guy, they've been together for years, over 5 years, and they're still not married. He hasn't bought her a dream car. She had to buy herself her dream car, which is great for her. But if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't be doing that. If you want to buy for yourself, sure, but have the men also put something in there, not just like doing it all yourself. No, you don't. You deserve a lot more than that. And when you realize that you deserve a lot more, that is when you're gonna start to heal, and you start to stand up for yourself and say, I deserve more. I deserve to be the kind of woman who a man can provide that for. Not the kind of woman who's like, no, like, don't buy me that. Like, it's just so much money. Let's just save up. Don't do that when you're with masculine men, when you're in a masculine energy. You are the woman. You deserve the, but you as a woman, you call in the abundance. You call in the money. Any man that's around any woman, he is going to multiply everything around him because he's just around a woman. Women are naturally abundant. They call in the money. And if you feel like you're not calling in money, there's something going on in the relationship, your environment. Maybe you're in a job like I was, or the job that she's in, or maybe you're in your environment that every time you wake up in the morning, you're like, I hate it here. I don't want to be here. All these things, clocking in, clocking out, all of these things around you, and that right there is causing you anger, is causing you hate. That energy cannot flow. That energy cannot build anything successful. It cannot grow. It cannot build your $1 million business because you still feel that way. And that is where frequencies come in. The highest form of frequency is love. When you truly love yourself as a single woman, when you love yourself and you put yourself first above anything else, above everybody else, about your boss and your environment, anything. When you're in a relationship, that is so different. Relationship love attracts everything together abundantly because you're the woman and you activate him as a visionary to go and work and do everything else for you. And that is what it is for my relationship. I am the one who brings in the desires, who calls in the money, and he goes and he puts it to work. Because of me, we have everything here. And also because of him, I give him credit too, all the time. He's so smart, so brilliant. But I put everything in his mind. I'm like, I want you to be a shark one day. I want you to flip 10 homes. I want you to do this and this and that. And I put it in his mind, and then I watch the environment. And I make sure that he's in a good environment with good people, successful men, in good relationships with their wives and with the women that they're dating. If they're not in a good relationship with the woman that they're dating, they're complaining about spoiling them or providing for them, I say, we're not going to hang out with them right there. No, because that's going to bring lack. We will only hang out with people who are calling in the money, who are successful, who are naturally trying to just grow and help people. That is it. If you focus on people and not money, your life will change. Focus on people. Focus on how much value you can bring. Whose life can you change? That right there will completely change your life. It did for me. When I stopped focusing on money, what can I buy? What can I spend on? And I said, okay, people, women, how can I change their lives? How can I make them feel more beautiful? What can I do to solve a problem? What's a problem in my life that I can go and I can solve where other people are having this problem? And that is when I activated the energy. And then I built my Amazon business, which I spent $7,000 learning how to sell on Amazon. And then again, spent another $7,000 losing that because I didn't know what I was doing. Again, because of urgency. And then I realized, okay, calm down, heal your masculine energy, and then you can go and do all these things. Then you have a structure, you have more logic when it comes to doing things like that. We're building a business, having a business plan, knowing about credit, knowing how to leverage, learning how to do all these things, leverage your network, leverage your income, learning how to invest. There's so much things that come into this, but it all starts with masculine energy. And when it comes to relationships, you won't know you're in the right relationship when there's so much synchronicity. Me and my boyfriend, when there's synchronicity, we automatically look at each other and we smile at each other. And one of the things that happened this weekend, I think we were saying the same things at the same time, and we're like, whoa, we just said the same things. And we're like, well, we're like the same stuff. It's just a lot that happened. And even when we first started dating, we both had Range Rovers. I had a Range Rover, and he had another Range Rover, and we're like, wait, what's happening here? And then, oh my gosh, so yeah, so this weekend, we're at this place called Bell's Bubbly in Galveston. It's such a pink girly place, and we look at the wine. It's like on a wine refrigerator. It's a really cool wine refrigerator, and I'm like, oh, the Roscato used to be my favorite, and he's like, no way, that used to be my favorite. And then we're like, no, how are we so synchronized where we used to listen to the same music, we literally drank the same wine and fell in love with the same wine? That is synchronicity, having the same cars. Like it feels like our life, it's like me and him, me and him right here, and us as children, and our whole life was kind of similar. We started a business around the same age and grew at the same time. Only thing, he makes a lot more money than I do. He has 3 businesses now. Whenever I met him, he only had 1. A year later, we're only a year and a half, and he has now 3 businesses and is helping so many people. 2026 alone, we have changed over 250 lives with the new company that him and his partners launched, and that is what I'm going to talk about at the end of the video. But this is going to completely change you. So now, let's see what else. Let me look at my notes. I want to make sure that I get everything. If I miss something, please let me know and I'll make another video. Let's see. So, rules to life. You need to make your own rules to life. There is no rules to life, so you have to make them. The rules to life are go to school, go to college, study this and do that. And then when you get out, you're like, what do we do? How do we even buy a home? How do we get paid $20,000? How can I see that check? How can I make $100 grand a month? How can I make 10 grand a month? And you're wondering, once you graduate, you're never going to make this money by working for someone else. You are being the manifester for your boss. So now, because you're working for him, he is getting his dream life and desires. That is exactly what happens. And whenever you start to say, my life, I have the keys to my life. I have the keys to my life. I get to be the master key, and I can unlock all the opportunities around there for me. And I know that whenever I travel outside the country, or like whenever I just travel everywhere, I just feel like there's so much opportunity, there's so much growth everywhere. Everywhere where I would go, there's an opportunity for someone to come in and solve a huge problem. And that is where HomeLink also comes in, where we're solving a huge problem right now for the entire world, for the entire community, for the United States, for everyone around. And I'm going to tell you what it is and how you can be part of this. But take roles of your own life. And I used to, my parents would always say, go to college, do this and that. And even though there's been so much failure, that failure has gotten me here. That failure has gotten me to make multiple 6-figure businesses, to have my online business, to have rental properties, to now be a real estate investor at 23 years old, where I make passive income, where I make so much more money than anybody can ever make going to college. And even when I started my business and actually healed my masculine energy, that is when I started making 10 grand a month, 15 grand a month, 20 grand a month. And then I thought that was normal. I really thought that people were making this in college. And then I talked to more college students. And the more and more I talked to college students who were already graduated, the more I figured out that they didn't know what they were doing. They went to college because their parents told them to. And now I actually have a teacher, and I took classes, music classes, and she told me the same thing. She's like, I don't know what we're doing. Like, we graduated college. I went to New York for college, and I went over here and over there. She went to Ivy League schools, and they graduated, and they still don't know. She still doesn't know what she's doing. And I have another, she also told me that she has friends who do not know what they're doing either. They don't even know how to buy a home. And I swear, this is where HomeLink comes in. I'm going to speak on it now. HomeLink is a networking referral program. If you have any friends you can make money. Even if you don't, you can still make money by just referring people. And let's say that you want to learn real estate education that costs hundreds of dollars for you to learn, education that is only available for wealthy people. This education, the founders decided to make it affordable for everybody to learn. They have paid thousands of dollars, extremely amounts of money, going to masterminds, learning from others, meeting these great people, billionaires, multimillionaires, to have all this real estate education. And now they're all putting it together for you to learn about real estate, learn how you can leverage your knowledge, leverage your network. And what you will learn are 6 different aspects in real estate, like all the aspects about real estate. You'll learn wholesaling, development, house flipping, mortgages, private money lending, a lot of things. And all this can make you so much money if you are able to heal your masculine energy, take the veil off that is causing you to not look at opportunities. And what I mean by this is that wholesaling, you are the middle person between the homeowner and the investor. The investor buys the house to flip it and make more money, right? But the wholesaler is in between because the investor, he's busy. The investors are busy doing a lot of things. And now the wholesalers are the middle person that brings them the deals. But this person right here, the homeowner, they can have a distressed property. Maybe they own a bunch of properties and they just kind of left them and they're literally not worth anything now. Or they can't pay their mortgages, something's happening in their life, something terrible happened. And I've met people with terrible experiences who have lost their house because they couldn't afford it. They've been in hospitals for too long and they had to stop working. Really sad stories. And that's where wholesalers come in. They look for these people, they negotiate a good price, and from there they have what is called an assignment fee. This assignment fee can range from $5,000 to $20,000 or more, but let's just say $10,000, so right in between, or $15,000, whatever, right in between, right? So then they take this assignment fee, this contract, and they say to the investor, hey, I have this property, the numbers look good, the after repair value looks great, the market looks great, it's selling for this price, I got it for this price, what do you think? Then they buy from them, and then they pay you your assignment fee, and then they buy the house. That's where it works. And you get paid from, again, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, $20,000, depending on how you negotiate. So now the investor comes in, the investor buys the house, and the investor flips the house. They have to get contractors, bids on a lot of things, and find a private money lender, hard money lender, find lenders who are going to give them money to buy the home. And then from there, they need to have like the construction loan, all these things. And that right there is where the investor can make from $40,000 to $60,000, depending on the home. If the average market price is around $250,000 to $300,000, then you'll make around $40,000 to $60,000 in 3 months, quickly. This happens so fast if you know your numbers. And if let's say you do 3 or even 5 flips a month, and you actually know what you're doing, and you know the numbers, and you can make $100,000 a month so quickly. And investors, if you can do that and get more people to invest as well, where you know what you're doing, or come with like a broker. My boyfriend's a broker. People do that. They come in and they invest their money with him. You need about $45,000 to flip a house, but you will get your money back. So you get the $45,000, you send it to the investor, or you build an LLC with the broker, and the broker then he already has connections with a bunch of realtors. He has connections with wholesalers. He has connections with everybody in real estate. So you don't have to go out there and find your own homes, because that does take time. He's already getting sent so many houses and deals and all these things, where he's like, okay, I already have all the deals, I have all the structure, now I just need more money, more people to invest so they can make more money. And that is exactly what we do too. That is another branch of things where you can make money, where let's say you already are a high value earner and you want to expand your money, your income, then that is exactly what we do. I don't do it, my boyfriend does, but I bring the opportunity to the table. That is what I do. That is what I'm best at. Bringing opportunities to the table and bring them to life. So now you're bringing that money. There is a contract that he signs where he's saying that he is able to give you your money back. I forgot the name. I have it in my head, but I forgot the name. And you're not gonna lose. There is literally no losses here. The only loss here is that you can probably make 20,000, the least, but you'll make your money back. The only reason why I say this, sometimes if you invest with the wrong person, you can lose. We know people who've lost $300,000 in investing in the wrong person, because this person, whenever I met them, what I saw is that they have a bad relationship with their parents. That means that opportunity does not run at them. Opportunities do not want to go and swim in their waters. Money does not want to go and swim in their waters. They make decisions based on greed, on scarcity, on lack. All their decisions are made and are done by lack. So now they go, and because they've never had an insane amount of money in their life before, they think, oh, this is a good deal, this is a good house, like, let's buy it. They buy it, the numbers were not even right, the house was probably haunted, all these things that they did not take a look at, and they thought they could sell it for more, when you had to look around. People are not selling, they're not buying $500,000 houses every day, but they are buying $250,000 to $300,000 houses every day. Those are houses that you buy, not $500,000, $800,000. Like, these big ones, they will sell here and there, but not every day. But the ones that do sell every day are the little ones, for smaller families. So that is what you have to take a look at. And that is exactly, that's the difference. They did not see that. They were thinking about, oh, we're gonna buy this for $500,000 and then we're gonna sell it for $1 million if we just fix it up a little bit and make 500,000, and then we'll split it between all of us. And that right there cost them to lose $300,000 on that house. And then they got so traumatized they didn't even want to keep investing. But this is where you do inner work. Inner work allows you to actually flow in the money, call in the opportunities, and opportunities just run to you. Abundance just runs to you. And I've seen it in my life. I've seen it in my boyfriend's life. We don't need anything, because abundance wants to swim in our waters. It wants to come near us. And that is why we're so abundant and we're so divinely protected by God, and we're led by God, because we allow everything to flow. And if God wants us to do this, we will do this, because every decision we make, God makes it for us. And that's just how it is when you start to heal your wounded masculine energy. And now, how you can make money here is that you can learn all of this. There's still a lot more that you can learn that I didn't explain, but so much more where you can make a lot of money in very little time. And let's say you want to invest in real estate, but you don't have $45,000, then you build a business and you save up money, and literally you're like, okay, I have a recurring income, all this, I'm ready to invest, I don't want to spend money on travel and all this. Like, I'm thinking about my future long term. How do I build a trust fund? How do I put my LLCs underneath that trust fund for my future kids so that I can have trust fund babies? That is exactly what you do. With HomeLink, you will learn how to do that as well. Learn how to build a trust fund, learn how to build LLCs, learn how to protect yourself, your family, insurance, all these things that you need to know that are so important. And let's say that you know someone who doesn't qualify, and 80% of people don't even qualify for a home. So this is where HomeLink comes in, and they qualify 99% of people. It is very rare that somebody's gonna get denied. So you can go and apply for a house. You don't need Social Security, you don't need an IT number, you don't need bank statements, you don't need anything, as long as you can pay the mortgage and you can pay the title fees, because it is 100% financing, meaning there is no down payment. You can go get a home, no down payment, just pay the title fees and the other fees that there is that you have to pay regardless to buy a home. But you can go and do that and have your home. And if you want to rent it and do Airbnb, you can go and do that and make recurring income through Airbnb. Right now we're opening up in Texas, but actually today's February 2nd. That means that we're opening up in Florida this month. That means people are always traveling to Florida. People are always going to Miami. That means that you can buy a home over there, and then you can use our program. I'm gonna link it down below. You can use our program, qualify for a home, which will literally take you 5 minutes to pre-qualify, because any real estate agent will always ask you to have pre-approval. I can get you on pre-approval in 5 minutes if you use the link below. And now you can qualify for a home, buy it, have the Airbnb, put all the furniture in there, all the stuff listed, and now you have recurring income through Airbnb. But you also gotta know your numbers and have your masculine energy guide you. Literally, you don't even have to think. As a woman, if you do all these things, you don't have to think because your masculine energy is already knows. And that is how healed your masculine energy should be, where it completely guides you to abundance. Your feminine energy cuts in the money, your masculine energy makes the decision, and you just walk into money. That's it. And it sounds so unrealistic, but it's so realistic. I've seen it in my life. I see it in successful men's life all the time. You think that these men are working all their asses off like all the time? No, they're literally abundant. And yeah, they're working really hard, but it's not like they're working harder than like a construction worker or working harder than somebody who works at a restaurant. Those people work really hard, but they don't get the rewards of money because, again, their masculine energy is wounded. And yeah, so another thing that you can do to make extra money, let's say you sign up for the company, you have to pay $4.99 for the education that you're getting, which you already know how much money you can make. You pay only $4.99. From there, let's say you get another person in. Because you got the other person in to get the education, you now make $100. Let's say that person gets another person in. It's kind of like you, the other person. This person comes in, now you make $25. Now, if there's more people, you can go from $25 to $50 to $100 from not knowing anybody. So money is literally gonna just be working for you. That's it. And you are selling education, you are referring other people to real estate education, where again, they can do all the things that I just explained, where they will make a lot more money, a lot more. And this is something that's never been heard of because education is usually, if anybody was teaching you this, they will be like, oh, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, all of this. When this education is going to be at your fingertips for $4.99, and you can make a lot more money, change your life, your generation, make a trust, build a low seas around it, protect yourself, and a lot more great things in this community because you actually have real world experts helping you. People who have built, people who have flipped, people who have made hotels, all these things, you will get to meet them and you'll get to be around them and surrounded by more like-minded people. And like I said, it starts again with your masculine energy. And another thing that you can make money in is if you refer, let's say somebody gets into a car accident, you refer them to Z&P Law Firm. I'll link it down below. You refer them, and then the law firm will pay you $1,000 per referral. My friend's a paralegal there. She's amazing. She's the one who introduced me to the lawyers, and the lawyers actually helped us in a case. And he does everything for his clients. He will help you and get you the best thing that you deserve, the best price that you deserve, because that is what he does best. And he's so successful. I did not know lawyers made so much money, but they're so successful. And yeah, that is it. If you need anything else, I'm here. And if you want to heal quicker, I don't have a course on masculine energy just yet, but if you would like to heal quicker and get so rooted into your masculine energy, healing that, then you can always book a one-on-one call with me at www.carolinacarranza.com, and I will see you there. I love you so much. Thank you so much for holding space for me, for holding this energy here, for being so beautiful and just bringing all your love. Thank you so much. Bye. Oh, sugar.